Okay, why don't I get started, and then hopefully more people will join. We'll see. And if not, it's being recorded. So, all right. Okay, so welcome to our WTA workshop called How to Get the Most from Your WTA Membership on today, October 7th. So we're glad to have you here. And just a few basics. And also, my name's Caitlin Ahern. I'm the program director for WTA. And so some basics, some webinar basics. It'll be about an hour. We have an hour plan, so it depends on how much discussion there is. Please mute yourself if you're not speaking. You can put questions in the chat, and we can stop for questions as needed. And we also have some time set aside for questions. And also, as I said, this is being recorded. So you can watch it later if you have to miss anything, leave early. For anyone who misses it, we'll be putting this up on our website and our YouTube channel. So you can keep an eye out for that recording. First, I want to go over a little bit about our organization, WTA. So we are a membership-based transportation management association, or TMA, and we deliver customized programs and services in partnership with employers and public agencies in order to increase transportation options usage in Washington County and the Portland metro region. And what we mean by transportation options is pretty much anything besides driving alone. So carpooling, transit, biking, walking, telework, all that good stuff is things that we encourage and help people to do. And our work is made possible with support from Metro and the Federal Transit Administration. And so I mentioned we're a TMA, or Transportation Management Association. So in case you aren't up on the lingo, it's also sometimes called a Transportation Management Organization, or TMO. And it's basically an organization that helps manage the transportation needs of a particular venue, district, or community. So I mentioned we mostly focus on commute trips, but also do some work with all trips. And we concentrate most of our work in Washington County, Oregon, and also some work in the greater metro region. And some more local examples that you may or may not have heard of are Go Lloyd, which does similar work in the Lloyd district in Portland, and also Explore Washington Park, which helps people get around Washington Park in Portland, which is where the zoo is and the Rose Garden and all that good stuff. You don't have to worry about parking. You can take their shuttle. All right, so I would like to introduce our WTA staff. There's 4 of us right now, and I'll let everybody introduce themselves. So Jeff, do you want to go first?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Jeff Pezdowski. I'm the executive director of the organization. I've had the pleasure of working for WTA since 2016 and working with a great team of folks that you're just about to meet. So Jordan, I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. My name is Jordan Del Valle-Tenoyan. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the program manager at WTA. I've been primarily leading our micromobility programs, doing incentive programs over the last year or so, and leading our equity-focused work since about 2022. I've been with WTA for over 3 years now, and I'm really, really passionate about our first last mile programs, like I said, shared micromobility, and really heavily involved with transportation in Washington County. Michelle?
Yeah, thanks, Jordan. Hi, everybody. My name is Michelle Knoke. I've been with WTA since February of 2024. And as it says on the slide, I lead outreach to local businesses and organizations and the wider community at large.
All right, thanks everybody. And I'm Caitlin Ahern, as I mentioned. I'm the program director, and I oversee the employer programs. I lead the eco surveys, which maybe you've worked with me on that before. And I work with Jeff and the rest of the team to plan programming based on our long-term goals. And I've been here since 2019, so right before the pandemic. So it's been interesting to see how everything has changed. Now let's talk about who our WTA members are. I mentioned we are a membership organization, and so we have members that pay us dues in exchange for the services that we provide, and also other organizations that are affiliate partners with us, so that we, other nonprofits that we work with, and we like to think of it as kind of a community collaboration partnership. And so these organizations are kind of all over the place. They're a mix of public and private organizations across the county and the region, employers from sectors like manufacturing, housing, education, the arts, and more, local governments and city partners, and chambers of commerce, business associations, fellow nonprofits. We have partnerships with a few bike shops in the area, and more, as I said. So here's all of our members and their logos. So if you see yourself on there, thank you for being a member. We appreciate it. And if you don't see yourself on there and you want to, just let us know, because we're always happy to have chats about membership options. And here's a little informal map of most of our member locations. A lot of our members have multiple locations. And so this kind of gives you an idea of just like where all our members and partners are located. And you can see it's a lot of different areas in the county and also a little bit in Portland. And it's mainly along like major transportation corridors. And there are a few in Portland, which is outside of Washington County, but a few of our members do have locations in Portland, and so we serve those as well. So let's talk about WTA and you. So we can accomplish a lot together. We are always down to try new things and really want to make sure our members get the most out of their membership. So we have, here I have our mission and our vision. And I like to think of it as our shared goals, because hopefully, you know, if you're working with us, this overlaps with some of your work. And so our mission, as I mentioned before, is that we deliver customized programs and services in partnership with employers and public agencies to increase transportation options usage in Washington County and the region. And then our vision is stronger businesses and healthier communities supported by an engaged alliance of partners, resulting in more people using transportation options. And so that's us wanting to, you know, work with our members and our other partners just to make it a better place to live and to work. So I wanted to bring up this statistic just to drive home that the work that we all do is good and important. So this is based on surveys that we've done after the pandemic, and we haven't asked this question to all employers yet. But the employees that we did ask, almost 2,000 of them, 40% of employees when asked would like to drive less. So that's almost half of people want to drive less. So that just says that our work is needed and wanted in the community and by our employees. And so I hope that's, you know, just remember that if you're feeling down or hopeless about your work, the people want it and people need it. So you're all doing good work. Let's talk about what our WTA membership includes. So we like to think of ourselves as your commute consultant. So we just really want to help you however we can. And so I'm going to talk about some examples of things that we do. But honestly, like if you just anything transportation, commute, you know, sustainability related, just, you know, if you're trying to figure something out, use us as a resource. So like I said, we're a resource for employee transportation coordinators. So transportation coordinators can take many different forms. So someone can be an HR, they can be a dedicated transportation coordinator for their employees. They can be sustainability, facilities, planning. It could be a whole job. It could be a part of a job. It could be like a voluntold thing. It could be like a employee committee. There's all sorts of forms. There's all sorts of different types of people and jobs that are working with employee transportation, both within campus and also getting to and from campus. So we can create custom transportation demand management or TDM solutions. That's basically managing how vehicles get in and around your campus and, you know, making sure there's not bottlenecks and a ton of traffic all the time. We can help with that by providing other solutions. Providing commute options that reduce parking demand, vehicle emissions, and facility costs. So parking spots are very expensive. So if you're thinking you need to build more parking, you know, and instead we think about how to reduce the number of people that need to park, you know, that could save a lot of money if you don't have to build more parking. We can partner on grant opportunities that could benefit your employees. We are, in addition to member dues, we are grant funded. and we're always looking for new grants, and it's great to partner with our members on pilot programs or things that will benefit their employees. And also we can get some funding from other sources. We create ready-to-go communication toolkits and templates, so you don't have to do everything yourself, coming up with language and brochures and handouts and whatever. We can do that for you. We tailor these resources to your workplace, so it's not just like a one-size-fits-all, fill in the blank here. We really can tailor it to what your employees need and want, and based on feedback from them, we can hopefully provide them something useful for them. We create customized challenges, events, and incentives. So that's something else that maybe you want to do for your employees, but you don't have time. We can do that for you. And that's all hosted on the gettherooregon.org platform. That's a free website, free statewide website, where people can track their trips and earn prizes and look for carpool matches, et cetera, et cetera. There's all sorts of resources on there. And so we can have trainings, we can provide technical support for that. We can make you a network manager so that you can see how your employees are getting to work and like create reports and, just, show your bosses and brag to your other employees about how all these people are biking and logging their trips. All right, so one of our most popular benefits that people take advantage of is our eco surveys. So under DEQ's mandatory eco or employee commute options program, or ECO for short, work sites with 100 or more employees must submit a commute survey every 2 years. And so that's something that we do for our members when asked to do so. Some people prefer to do it themselves, but we are very happy to do it. We can administer the survey, we can analyze the data and the feedback, we can submit the results to DEQ for you. We're in good contact with DEQ, so if you have questions, we can also, be that resource for you. And we can take the results of that and the feedback and help you turn it into actionable strategies and programs in order to improve your employees' commute benefits. So this is just an example that I have here of some results from the trip log part of the survey, which is the part that's required. And we also like to ask extra questions, so you can take advantage of the fact that the requirement is a 75% response rate. And so that's like most of your employees. And so you can put in a lot of questions about like employee satisfaction, like anything you want to know, we can just add in there. And it's a good opportunity just to get feedback from your employees. And so with that data, we can track some long-term commute trends, which is interesting. So this is an example of some, an analysis we did of the eco surveys that we performed, just to see how commute changes changed, like from before the pandemic and then coming out of it. And this will be a part of a report that I'll send out. And so you'll have this information with you, and we'll be doing even more work in this area to do, to get more information about how people are commuting and how it's changed, because it's super interesting. So for example, you can see drive alone, before the pandemic, that was 2018-19, that's that teal bar, that was pretty high, and then it came way down right after the pandemic, 2022-23. We don't have the data for 2020 or 2021 because eco surveys mostly paused during that time. But afterwards, we can see it came way down, but it's coming right back up. So the 2024 is halfway back to what it was before, and that's due to a lot of newer return to office policies. A lot of companies are wanting their employees back in the office, and a lot of them are driving. So that's a lot of traffic. That's a lot of money spent for those employees that they didn't have to spend before when they were working from home. So it's a tricky situation sometimes to work that out. So using these insights that we have kind of collected over the years, we can come up with strategies. So this is from a workshop that we did back in the spring with some of our members. And we used some aggregated data to come up with some strategies. And like I say, this will be part of a report that I'll be sending out, actually. So don't worry about having to read all of it. but pretty much based on what employees said that they need and want and their motivations, we came up with some key strategies that places might want to employ based on the changing nature of the commute world and the workplace. So number one, driving less doesn't need to be all or nothing. So like you don't have to get rid of your car. You don't have to drive all the time. You can mix it up. And sometimes that's not really an intuitive thing. You can do what works for you at the time. And especially if you just try a new commute once, that's a big deal. Doing it the first time is the hardest part. So making sure to celebrate that. And tooting your own horn, so you're probably not starting from scratch. You probably already are doing stuff. And so making sure your employees know about the benefits that they already have, because they can't use what they don't know about, and making sure to, highlight it for new employees and really, highlight what we already have. And then also just, the basics, making sure your policies reflect your new hybrid workplace, if that's something that hasn't been updated since before the pandemic. So yeah, just making sure everything's updated and people know what's going on. It seems pretty simple, but we got to make sure it gets out there. All right, one thing that we like to help members do is get recognized. And so there's various certifications, recognitions that you can have. One of them's local to Washington County, the Green Business Leaders Program. So that's a sustainability focused recognition. And then Best Workplaces for Commuters is a national recognition program. And that's something that you put on your recruiting materials, on your job descriptions, so that people, when they apply to your job, they know that you care about your employees' commutes and how they get to work, and you're supporting that. And then another one is the EVAL certification. That's the Electric Vehicle Adoption Leadership Program through Fourth Mobility, somewhat new. And we've helped quite a few of our members get EVAL certified. So we received a grant from them to help with that. And so congratulations to the following. And so we'd like to see more of our members get recognized for, like I said, stuff that you're already doing. So might as well get the word out and use it to help, attract new talent. Okay, so all that was focused on mostly organizational benefits and benefits for transportation coordinators. And so I'm going to turn the focus to the employees and resources and services for employees. And like I say, we're here for you. So take advantage of us and we can do the work for you. So our goals around this is that more individuals are making transportation options trips, and more individuals report being better prepared to use transportation options. So even if people aren't actually using transportation options to work, they're getting closer to it. They have the information they need, they feel better prepared, they have the motivation. So it's a whole process. And so we want to get them closer to being able to do that. So we like to say we deliver responsive and high quality transportation option services, and it's primarily focused on commute trips, but some programs focus on all trips in order to meet employees' mobility needs. So this might include personalized route planning and consultations. This is a free service that anybody can take advantage of in our WTA network. And you can book a free 30-minute consultation with a staff member, and we can just talk through your commute with you, and if you want to try something new, go over some strategies. We can help you plan your route if you're not sure which way to go. We create customized resources, like I said, just tailored to what your employees need. We can have activity tables at workplace events. These photos are an example of some things that we can do. So that's our very bright, happy, fun table. We're always the brightest one there and the most colorful. So we usually have some freebies to give away that we hope are useful, like reflective items or lights. And this How Was Your Commute Today board is one of our activities that we can provide. So it kind of helps people think about how they got to work today and how it made them feel, and what different options work better for them if they're available. We can host classes and workshops either at your workplace or we can also find a location to do that. We have some public classes. And we now have a league cycling instructor on staff from the League of American Bicyclists. That's Jordan. He just got certified. So nice job. That's something we can offer now. And carpool and ride matching with Get There Connect. That's the platform, the free platform we mentioned before. And also support with creating and promoting van pool programs. And pretty much, like I say, whatever you need. You know, we're down to try new things. We just want to be here for you. And so if you ever want to chat, you know, we're always available. And so now I'm going to pass it over to Jordan to talk about some more specific programs.
Thanks, Caitlin. Yeah, so more specific programs, like I mentioned, I am in charge of most of the commuter incentive programs, and one of those programs is called TIPS, stands for Transportation Options Incentive Points. People who log trips on the Get There platform that Caitlin mentioned can earn points for logging those trips. Those points are directly redeemable for items. We have a whole bunch of stuff, including a couple of tiers of items that can be redeemed for gift cards and Hop Fast Pass value, or TriMet's fare system. You can also earn them by doing the commuter kickbacks and logging your commute trips. You can submit a trip story to us and let us know how your commute or just other trip in general using transportation options went. And we might feature you or your business on social media. And then those non-commute trips earn tips as well. 1 point per transportation trip, up to 2 points per day. We have a whole bunch of cool swag that can be redeemed for. Next slide here. We also have a priority commuters program. It's our equity-focused incentives programming. It's specifically for people who work in shift work, work part-time, are in seasonal positions, or in an essential industry like retail, food service, grocery, manufacturing, warehouse, shipping, administration, hotel, building maintenance. People who are eligible for TriMet's reduced fare program, low income, people who are enrolled as students receiving federal aid or federal Pell Grants, and people who live or work in high or medium high disparity census tracts as defined by the Oregon Social Equity Index, and people who have no telework option. It's a very, very broad description, and most people who live or work in Washington County also fall into this, but it's just another way that we can include people who are sort of these targeted demographics that have been traditionally underserved by TDM programs like the ones that WTA provides, to make sure that those populations are included, whether or not they're employed by a member necessarily. Like Caitlin mentioned, we can also do shared micromobility programs. We really think of this as like a customized first last mile solution. In Washington County, it's a great option. We have some really frequent trunk transit routes, but sometimes those final connections can be really difficult. So we can do two different types of programs. We have like the short-term lending programs, like you might be familiar with, like Bike Town in downtown Portland, or the Lime program in Tualatin. And those are like I said, very focused at first last mile solutions. It can be campus or neighborhood mobility. It can be private or public. We provide the fleet maintenance, kind of just like scan, unlock and go, ride, lock and leave. And then we have long-term lending programs that are more focused on behavior change, things like bike lending libraries. We also support members and other organizations with sort of like selecting their fleet and helping them do that fleet management for electric micromobility as well. One more thing that we can do is help you, your site, your event, promote transportation options. There's a couple examples up here on the screen. We did a bike valet for an event with the city of Beaverton, and also provided some informational materials that they were able to have public facing, showing people how to get to and from the event with like bike routes, transit routes, bus lines, where parking was and how much it cost, an adjacent park and ride facility that people could use to park their car further away from the event and then take TriMet as a last mile option, and then good walking and bike routes around the event, some places with difficult crossings, places with signalized intersections, just to kind of warn people as they are approaching the event, like some areas that they might want to try to avoid if they can, or just take extra caution around. We practice what we preach. We talk a lot about alternative transportation options and alternative mobility. With the investment from Portland General Electric's Drive Change Fund and the Department of Environmental Quality's Clean Fuels program, and invested in a fleet of electric bikes and a cargo trailer for our organization. So now we have this awesome big called the bike feats. You might see them around. Normally people put kids up in the front, but we have ours kind of set up like almost like a pickup truck style, where it's just a flatbed in the front and we can stack boxes in there to take things around. We have a trailer that we can haul bikes around on and other equipment. And we also have a regular e-bike for use for our staff to get to and from events. So a lot of the stuff that we do ends up being by bike. You might see us at some events showing up with a lot of stuff on a bike. So definitely keep an eye out for that when you see us in the community. And we look forward to coming to your campus and work sites using this equipment so that we can serve your employees and then also show how transportation options can be used for more than what people might think. I think with that, that's back to Caitlin, right?
Yeah. And it's funny, at the events we come to with those bikes, it always draws a lot of attention. It's like, what is that? Is that how you got your stuff here? Like,
oh yeah,
it's really cool.
It's part of the display, frankly. You know, in addition to that table that you showed, and we have a pop-up tent that's the same kind of like bright orange. We have these big bikes and all this stuff, and it draws a lot of attention. We get a lot of questions, and we're always happy to answer them.
Yeah, it's a big hit. Okay, so to kind of summarize, I wanted to go over the top benefits of working with WTA to make sure that y'all are getting your money's worth and we're helping you and like taking stuff off your shoulders as we can. And so this is based on some feedback from our members and also especially our board members, our lovely board members, some of whom are here today. And so we help support your HR team. So that's by boosting employee well-being and engagement, and also with talent attraction and retention. So that's a big priority for most organizations. So like I say, if you put some recognitions on your job listings and really highlight that, you know, you're working with us to improve your employees' commutes and like how they get to work and their work from home, that's something that's really important to people. Meeting state eco requirements, that's that survey that I talked about. So that makes it easier for you to meet that requirement. And also, if you have organizational goals for ESG and CSR reporting, that's something that, you know, our work helps you get better at, you know, report some good things with the work that we do. Our membership is cost effective, so it's a high value. It's high value work for the cost because we are subsidized by grants and we're a nonprofit. And so we do high quality work for a little, you know, lower price than maybe some consultants. And we make it easier for you with low effort commute programming. We do flexible solutions to adapt to evolving employee needs. So we love to try new things. We like to do small pilots and stuff just to, you know, try things out and see if it works. Things that maybe you or your staff just don't have time to do or aren't able to do. We can try that out for you. Just, you know, proof of concept, see if something works. And if it doesn't, you know, try something else. And if it does, great, maybe we can expand it. We have networking and training opportunities like this one for transportation coordinators. We like to get people together, and so you guys can all talk to each other, and we can talk to you, you can talk to us, and we can all learn new things and get better at all of our jobs. And I've mentioned this before, you get recognized for the great work that you're already doing. So you're already doing awesome work. So let's get recognized for it and, you know, let people know. So here's a couple of testimonials from our members that you might recognize. So Courtney Martin from Intel, Oregon says WTA's support has been instrumental in helping Intel advance our sustainable commuting strategy. And Carla Chen from Leica Studios says WTA is a long-term partner in helping us strengthen sustainable commuting options for our employees. All right, with that, does anybody have any questions, comments, any ideas that were sparked? You can feel free to unmute yourself, put in the chat, and reach out anytime. And if you don't,
This is Megan. Jordan, I want to say that certificate from The League of American Cyclists is that's a great addition to having you be able to do some more trainings out here on campus. That's a valuable asset. Really excited about that. And thank you. Yeah, I can't say enough about all the good work that you do.
Yeah, thank you, Megan. And yeah, we're excited to be able to offer this in-house. Traditionally, we have partnered with other organizations that have cycling instructors on staff. But now that we have myself, a certified instructor on staff, we're really excited to be able to offer that without having to include an additional scheduling layer.
Yeah, thanks, Megan. That's a great shout out. Anybody else? Well, like I say, if you think of anything, any questions, anything you want to get started on, talk to us about, we're around. You know, we're always looking for new things to work on. And this will be sent out, the recording and the slides will be sent out as long as that Eco Survey Insights report. So, you know, feel free to distribute this, you know, pass it around, show your boss to like see, so they can see what you're doing, you know, publicize it however you want. And with this, I'm going to hand it over to Michelle to go over some current and upcoming events and opportunities.
Thanks, Caitlin. Yeah, I wanted to mention the Get There Challenge, which is going on right now through October 14th. You can enter anytime during the challenge, so don't feel like you can't enter even though it's already started. This is a fun statewide event where employees can try carpooling, biking, taking transit, or even remote work for the first time. Participants will join a network on the Get There Oregon platform if you're not already in a network. And then you log your non-drive alone trips for the duration of the contest, and you can compete for prizes, and employers can get recognition for encouraging sustainable commuting. Events like this are easy to promote at your workplace. And WTA is here to help you get your employees involved, whether that's setting up a network and Get There, or sharing communications, or just answering questions. So before we wrap up, I just kind of want to reiterate some things that Caitlin has said earlier in the call, but highlight one main point. WTA is here to make your job easier. This is our expertise: behavior change and sustainable commuting. We bring the tools, the messaging, the strategies, so you don't have to start from scratch. Our programs are low effort for you and turnkey. We take care of all the details so you can just support your team and focus on that. If you are wanting to become a member, I'd love to schedule time to chat. My email is up on the screen there, or you can just go to our website, wta-tma.org. We've got a lot of information on there if you want to learn more about what we do. But with that, I'd like to thank everybody for being here, and I'll turn it over back to Caitlin to close out.
Yeah, thanks everybody. I'll stick around for a little bit in case anybody has any questions or wants to chat. But otherwise, thank you so much for coming, and looking forward to the next one.